Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Your Name, and for the next 10 minutes, I'm taking you on an incredible journey. That's right, I just got back from a whirlwind one-week adventure in London, and I'm still buzzing from all the excitement. I tried to cram as much as possible into 7 days, and let me tell you, London did not disappoint. From the historic streets that whisper tales of centuries past to the vibrant, modern energy that pulses through the city, I fell completely in love. So grab a cup of tea, get comfy, and let's dive into my London diary. I've got all the must-sees, some hidden gems, and of course, a few funny stories to share along the way. My adventure started the moment I stepped off the tube at Westminster. Honestly, nothing prepares you for seeing the Elizabeth Tower, or Big Ben as everyone knows it, in person for the first time. It's just so majestic. I spent my first day doing the classic tourist trail. I walked across Westminster Bridge, snapped about 100 photos of the Houses of Parliament, and then wandered over to Westminster Abbey. The architecture is just breathtaking. You can almost feel the history seeping out of the stone. Later, I took a leisurely stroll through St. James's Park, which was so peaceful and beautiful with its famous pelicans. My destination was Buckingham Palace. Even though the flag wasn't flying high, which meant the king wasn't home, just standing before those iconic gates was a pinch-me moment. It felt like stepping straight into a movie. The first day was all about soaking in those postcard-perfect views that I'd only ever dreamed of seeing. Day 2 was all about culture, and I headed straight for Museum Row in South Kensington. First up was the Natural History Museum. The building itself is a work of art, but the star of the show for me was the giant blue whale skeleton hanging from the ceiling. It's absolutely massive. I could have spent all day there, but the Victoria and Albert Museum, or the V&A, was calling my name. It's a treasure trove of art and design from all over the world. I got lost in rooms filled with everything from ancient sculptures to stunning fashion exhibits. After a few hours of museum hopping, I needed some fresh air. So I walked over to Hyde Park. It's this huge green oasis right in the middle of the city. I rented one of those blue Santander bikes and just cycled around, past the Serpentine Lake and Speaker's Corner. It was the perfect way to unwind and just enjoy the London atmosphere. It felt so liberating to just ride with no specific destination, watching the world go by. On day 3, I decided to explore a different side of London. I started my morning in Covent Garden. The energy there is just infectious. There are street performers, incredible market stalls, and so many cute little shops. I grabbed a coffee and just sat and watched a string quartet play. It was magical. From there, I wandered over to Neal's Yard, which is this hidden, super colourful courtyard that feels like a secret garden. It's probably the most Instagrammable spot in the entire city. In the afternoon, I dove into the world of theatre in the West End. I didn't have a ticket for a show, but I just loved walking around, seeing all the grand theatres and posters for famous plays. I did manage to get a last-minute ticket for a matinee performance, and it was absolutely spectacular. The talent on stage is just world-class. If you go to London, you have to see a West End show. It's an experience you'll never, ever forget. Day 4 was my Harry Potter day. As a huge fan, I couldn't go to London and not explore the magic. I started by visiting Leadenhall Market, which you'll recognise as the filming location for Diagon Alley. Walking through those ornate Victorian passages really felt like I was a wizard going to buy my first wand. It's a stunning market even if you're not a fan. Then I headed to King's Cross Station to find the famous Platform 9 3/4. Yes, it's real. Well, sort of. There's a brilliant photo opportunity with a trolley disappearing into the wall. And, of course, I had to get my picture taken. There was a bit of a queue, but it was totally worth it for the memory. I spent the rest of the afternoon just soaking in the Wizarding World vibes, and even popped into the Harry Potter shop next to the platform. It was a dream come true for my inner child, and a day filled with pure, unadulterated joy. By day 5, I was ready to explore some of London's incredible markets and food scenes. I started bright and early at Borough Market, which is a foodie's paradise. The sights, the smells, the sounds, it's a complete sensory overload in the best possible way. I tried everything from gourmet cheese to fresh oysters to the most delicious brownie I have ever had in my life. I highly recommend going with an empty stomach. In the afternoon, I hopped on the tube and went east to Shoreditch. The vibe there is completely different. It's edgy, creative, and so cool. I spent hours just wandering the streets, admiring the incredible street art and graffiti. It feels like an open-air art gallery. I also browsed through the vintage shops on Brick Lane and just loved the eclectic, trendy atmosphere. It was a day of contrasts, from the historic food market to the modern artistic hub of Shoreditch, and it showed me yet another fascinating layer of London's personality. On my 6th day, I decided to do a day trip just outside of the city. I took a train to Windsor, and it was one of the best decisions I made. The town itself is so charming and quaint, and it's completely dominated by the magnificent Windsor Castle. It's the oldest and largest inhabited castle in the world, and it's just awe-inspiring. I did the full tour, walking through the state apartments and St. George's Chapel. Seeing the final resting place of Queen Elizabeth II was a surprisingly moving and poignant moment. The history within those walls is just incredible. After exploring the castle, I took a long walk along the River Thames, watching the swans glide by. It was such a peaceful and beautiful contrast to the hustle and bustle of central London. It felt like stepping back in time and was the perfect little escape. If you have an extra day, I cannot recommend a trip to Windsor enough. And just like that, it was my final day. I wanted to make the most of it, so I started with a visit to the Tower of London. This place is steeped in so much history. It's been a royal palace, a prison, and a place of execution. Hearing the stories from the yeoman warders or beefeaters was fascinating and really brought the history to life. And of course, seeing the crown jewels was absolutely mind-blowing. The sparkle is real. People afterwards. I walked across the iconic Tower Bridge. The views from the top, looking out over the Thames, were the perfect way to say goodbye to the city skyline. For my final afternoon, I took a boat trip down the river to Greenwich. I stood on the prime meridian line with one foot in the eastern hemisphere and one in the west, which was a super cool feeling. Looking back at the view of London from Greenwich Park was the perfect, reflective end to an unforgettable week. What a week it was! London, you were everything I dreamed of and so much more. From the iconic landmarks to the hidden corners, every single day was a new adventure. This city has a unique way of blending its rich history with a vibrant, modern pulse that is just so captivating. I walked over 100,000 steps, rode the tube like a pro by the end, and made memories that I will cherish forever. I feel like I only just scratched the surface, and I am already planning my next trip back because there's still so much more to see and do. Thank you so much for coming along on this journey with me. I hope it inspired you to plan your own London adventure one day. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.